What's up, everybody? Podcast 49 here, and I'm with my good friend, Jesse Herrera. Before we start this podcast, I'm going to shout a couple people out. So, shout out to KTD brand out in Long Beach. They sell dope hats and dope shirts. Follow them on Instagram at KTD_brand. The second shout out is I'm going to give it to my favorite fight store, Superare Fight Goods. They sell everything fight related. Gloves, wraps, shin guards, everything you can think of fight related, they got you. Best customer service in the fight world. I'm telling you right now, they're all good friends of mine. And if you shout out this podcast when you go there and you buy something, you're gonna get 10% off your entire purchase. So give them a shout out and follow them on Instagram at Superare Shop. Is it just Superare Shop?
Yeah, it's Superare Shop.
It's just Superare Shop. So give them a follow. Cool. Let's get into it. So Jesse Herrera, this is my best friend, Jesse Herrera. I've known him all my life. Kidding. I just met him. So before we get into it, first time we met, I'm just going to give you the little backstory. Yeah. First time we met, I was getting fucked up at the gym. I was getting my ass whooped by Tyler. Tyler, you know who you are. If you're watching, you're beating the shit out of me. Okay? Next round, I go to Jesse, and I was like, Jesse, please watch this next round. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. And he's like, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. I was all right, cool. And then ever since then, we just started clicking. And then now, here we are. I'm more of and then started holding mitts. And then now I work with Jesse once a week, and I love working with him, and that's how we met. Hey, give me a little backstory about your upbringing, where you came from, and what led you to this point.
So I was born in Torrance.
We were born in the same hospital.
Yeah, same hospital.
Probably same Harbor Bay closed down now. Fake doctors.
Are they closed down now?
Yeah, dude. So they're gone.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. There's a whole scandal and everything.
No shit.
No, there wasn't no scandal, but they closed. It's not there anymore. I was just fucking around with fake doctors. I had no idea what we're doing. That's why we're so fucked up.
Yeah, probably.
Nah.
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, they are closed now.
I didn't know that, bro.
That hospital's gone. It's correct me if I'm wrong. I think that hospital is in Harbor City, right? It's not in Torrance.
Yeah, it's like the same general area, whatever.
Also, another thing, if you guys hear a cat meowing, that is Canelo. You all know who Canelo is. Canelo is our studio mascot. He has been misbehaving, and he's in the closet right now. So if he is meowing, my apologies. He's just really upset with us. Kevin pissed him off, and we have a girl, Amanda, here, and she was just fucking with him, and he's just not in a good mood. Okay, Amanda's right there. Cool. So disregard that. Harbor Bay, yeah, so they're closed down now.
No shit.
All right, cool. So then, so you were born there, but you were raised in
Long Beach.
You were raised in Long Beach. Cool.
Growing up, I kind of moved around. I kind of grew up for the first decade of my life on the east side.
Okay.
Lots of gang shit going on. Yeah, all the
were you
time.
Ever in a gang? No, it wasn't.
I was not in a gang.
You just grew up around it.
I just grew up around it, and so yeah, man. So kind of rough, a little bit. Moved around to the west side, the north side, and I finally kind of most like my high school years kind of were more around the north side area, but it still moved around a little bit.
You went to Lakewood, yeah?
Yeah, I went to Lakewood High School.
Nice.
Played soccer there my whole time there.
Did you play soccer all your life?
I started playing soccer in middle school.
Okay, cool.
Middle school, like 7th grade.
Nice.
And I got really into it. I was like playing on 3 teams at once, like literally 7 days a week doing soccer.
Cool.
So that just kind of took over my life.
Nice.
Then after high school, I was living in New York for a little bit.
Why'd you go to New York?
I was in the military for a little bit.
Got you. Okay, that's why you went.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then got out and kind of started like working jobs here and there, not really like anything serious, just kind of trying to find myself.
And how old were you?
23. Yeah. Okay. And so just kind of going around looking at, trying to find myself. And then I met the person that actually introduced me to Tracy, which is Gabby.
Yeah. A little backstory. Tracy Hess is our MMA coach. I've shouted him out many times on this podcast. Tracy Hess is out of Subfighter MMA in, I don't even want to say Long Beach anymore. Tracy Hess, Subfighter MMA. Keep going.
Yeah, so at the time she was like one of the high school coaches for Jordan wrestling team.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so we were pretty close. We still are. She's kind of like a sister to me. She's like a sister to me, and so.
What's your name?
Gabby.
Shout out Gabby.
And she at the time I was also like 210 pounds. Like I was lifting a lot and eating a lot, so it was kind of big.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel all right? How'd you feel?
I was stiff as fuck.
Stiff. Gotcha. Yeah.
But I mean, as long as I was able to lift heavy, that's all I really cared about at the time. And she asked me if I wanted to try like fighting and I had just gotten out of the military, so I was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna go in there and beat everybody up. I'm big as fuck, so I went, and that really went
the complete opposite way.
It's always that way, right? When the first time you step on it, you're like, yeah, I'll handle it. Yeah, I'll hold my own. Yeah, I've been in a couple fights. You know what I'm saying? You go to the gym, you just get fucked. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and
experience for sure.
Get really fucked up. But I kept coming back. I was also at the time smoking like 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh,
just
wow.
like I was chain smoking up the ass, and I
Holy
was
shit.
drinking every single day. And so going there, kind of like getting my ass kicked and not being able to fucking breathe and feeling like I was drowning the whole time. I had to make a choice. And there was a day where actually Tracy came up to me and was like, hey dude, like you got to make a choice. You either stop doing this or like you're going to be dying every single time you roll or you try to fight. So I quit cold turkey and, decided I wanted to train, kept training. And I want to say it was like 2.5 years into training. I was actually getting off of work, and Tracy sent me a text. He said, hey, dude, I think he was like, hey, do you think you could sell tickets for a fight? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, all right, cool. Like, I have a guy if you want to fight. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And then I kind of just started turning into like me obsessing over everything. Mainly jujitsu. Yeah, man, I became really obsessed with it, and then I just wanted to do it more and more and more. And in my head, it was always like, well, if I'm doing this so much, why wouldn't I compete? You know what I mean? Like what's the point of me training so much if I'm like, what purpose am I, you know? That, and also after getting out of the military, I didn't really feel like I had a purpose, so that kind of became it. You know what I mean? Just training, working out, staying in shape. All that whole fitness aspect of it just kind of became my purpose, I guess. And so I just I kept competing, kept doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. I got wrecked my first jiu-jitsu tournament. Won my first fight. And then just kept competing, bro. And fell in love with it even more as time progressed. And now I'm a purple belt, and here we are.
I want to talk about that moment where Tracy came up to you and said, like, all right, like, you have a choice. And when you said you went cold turkey, what was it about, like, training that, like, what set you off about it where you were kind of, like, so willing to just go cold turkey? Because, like, I feel like it takes something so special to make you completely disregard something that is, like, such a big part of your life, or that's negative, you know, or anything really. Just, like, that gives you that kind of spark that you're willing to realistically do anything. Like, what do you feel like? I mean, this is obviously like a very broad question, but when did you? I guess I'll break it into different parts. But like, what was it about fighting that you love so much? And then, when did you realize, like, oh, like, this is actually something I really want to do?
I took it more like a challenge.
Okay.
So whenever I want to do something, or whenever I feel like I want to try something new, I'll take it more. I was like, I bet you I can do this shit. So
you're pretty competitive.
Yes. Even if it's with myself. Mm-hmm. Like, at that point, like, I didn't really care much about, like, granted, I mean, I don't want to say I never cared about my health, but, like, it's more like, fuck, like, if I can do this, cool. Like, it gives me something to work on. You know what I mean? And I like staying busy. I'm not the type of person to just like sitting still. I fucking hate sitting still and not doing anything. I feel like I'm just fucking wasting away. So whenever there's like a challenge, I'll take it. I've always thought harder path, higher level. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of it. Like, fighting's rough, bro. You know, you learn something new every day, or every time you train, or every time you drill. You know, you're always missing something. Yeah. And so the fact that fighting is challenging is what kind of has me stuck on it.
Yeah, and I feel like another thing that's so cool about fighting is that there's no end. There's no end goal.
Exactly, 100%. You never stop
you be a black belt and still get your ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? 100%. It's just like all depends. There's no end to it. Yeah. You know, training, whether it's like you're a fighter, whether it's like you're just a martial artist. 100%. Whatever it is, it's like there's no end. You're always getting better. You're always getting, you know. So there's no like point where you could really stay stagnant. I mean, and 95% people do. You know what I'm saying? Eventually get to a point where they're kind of like, oh, I'm good here. You know? And they quit. Yeah. You know? I forget what it was. I think it was the last belt promotion where you got your purple belt. Yeah. Tracy was like, purple's the hardest to get because a lot of people get their blue and they're kind of like, oh, okay, cool, I can hold my own. And then they quit because it's like, I'm good. I handled it, you know? So it all depends on like understanding that there really is like so much room to grow. And,
definitely. Yeah. And that doesn't really come till I want to say, deep into like being a blue belt,
Yeah.
that it was like, oh shit, like this is what this means. Like, and I started seeing it more of an art than I did fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I had a conversation with Tracy because everything started clicking, and you start seeing things completely differently. You start taking it for what it actually is, and actually learning that what is it that I tell people? It's I know enough to know that I don't know anything at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty much. You have one of those clarity moments. Tracy calls them the moments, where everything clicks and you're just like, okay, this isn't. It's fighting. Don't get me wrong, but it's more than that. It becomes way more than that. It becomes you breaking everything down. It becomes you analyzing everything, watching videos over and over and over again.
Where it becomes like a lifestyle obsession kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, exactly.
When did it happen for you? Deep into your blue belt, you said?
I want to say,
Because I've noticed a change in you since. Like, I feel like I kind of wanted to say, like, because there was a point in time where we didn't really see each other.
yeah,
But the second time where I saw you, like, it was a totally different,
Yeah.
like, click.
yeah,
Where you're like, oh, wait. And me and like, me and some other guys at the gym have talked about, like, oh, it really, like, he really took it to another level.
Yeah.
Especially, like, this year. It's like, whoa. Like, he really honed in on it. And, like, so I guess to come back to it, so would you say that moment was, like, pretty recent?
Not too recent. I want to say maybe within the last 2.5 years.
Okay, yeah.
There's a huge moment of clarity, and
Is it one moment or is it like a time frame?
There's one where everything starts making sense, and then you have all these little ones that come after that, and you're just like, oh shit.
Do you remember yours?
I think I want to say we were still at Affliction when it happened.
Yeah. Do a little backstory. So we used to be at Affliction headquarters in Seal Beach. Not anymore.
Yeah, COVID.
Fuck you.
That's one of the best facilities I've ever trained in, bro. The best.
That is
facility
the
I've ever trained
best
in. Yeah.
MMA facility you could ever train in. Amazing. Super dope.
Yeah, it happened there, and I told Tracy, like, hey, like, dude, like, I don't see this as fighting anymore. Like, and he said you had a now moment, and yeah, and then after that, it just kept getting more frequent, and it got to the point where I got really obsessive over it, and I would go online and I'd stare at my phone literally for like hours straight, like a fucking 15-second clip of the same move or the same transition just over and over and over again until like it was completely like engraved in my mind. And then I would try it, and then when I saw that it worked, I did something else. And that's kind of how it started. Well, not how it started, how like it just kind of came to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once the pandemic hit, and there was that point in time where we stopped training for like a few months and like everything was shut down.
Yeah.
I really did that. And like, that's kind of what I was doing with my free time. I was running and I was just staring at jiu-jitsu videos. And so I couldn't wait to come back and like start everything that I had like kind of learned over that period of time, just start doing. And a lot of it worked and a lot of it didn't. And I just got rid of the stuff that didn't, you know?
Yeah.
So
There was a point in time, and this was actually the first time I ever held mitts for you. And it was, Kevin was there. Yeah. And you told me it was like fighting saved my life. And I want to get into the mental aspect and the mental health aspect of like how fighting has really like impacted you like in a positive way. And you don't have to get into too much backstory as to like what you were doing, but like what do you feel like it is about fighting or training or martial arts in general that like liberates people so much and just makes them have this like clarity in the head? Like, because I could give you my story, but like I really want to know like what yours would be.
Purpose more than anything.
Mm-hmm. It gives you a goal that you like what I got from that is like it gives you a goal that like you.
It never ends, so it's always there.
Ends. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it kind of, like I said, if I'm sitting, there's been times where I've gone months without training because of work or because of whatever, you know? But I can 100% with certainty tell you that I was miserable, I was depressed, and those are probably the darkest moments of my life.
When you weren't training?
When I wasn't training. When I wasn't working out. When I wasn't focused on, because that's all I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't do it for every reason. And that I realized that I was in very dark places during those times. Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why I hate not training.
Yeah.
Hate not working out. Hate not staying in shape. Because I'll go into a really dark place, and it's not because I mean I don't choose to. It just kind of fucking happens. You know what I mean? It took, and it also took me away from like drinking every day, from smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day, from doing all kinds of stupid shit, you know, that I shouldn't have been doing. And yeah, so it kind of gave me a purpose. It kind of, like I said, a purpose that never ends, and it just kind of kept growing.
So like the physical movement like of your body is something that like creates like clarity and like endorphins, and something that like it's interesting to me. Like I meet people that are kind of like, I have to, like what I get from you is like you have to train.
Yeah.
It's like medicine for you. It's like, okay, like if I don't do it, like I'm gonna get fucked up in the head. And like you said, you go to dark places.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me because it's kind of like, that's something that I don't really have. It's kind of something that like it boils up over time. But like from what you've told me, it's like, oh, if I didn't get a workout today, like I'm gonna feel shitty.
Yeah.
Right. So and same here, but like not at the level of yours. So like it's so interesting to me that people need it. And fighting is the only sport, and the reason I don't want to just say fighting is like martial arts in general, whether it's like any, but it's like it's something about this sport particularly that like really hones in on that part of like clarity and like this sense of like fulfillment, and like it really gets people in this place of zen, really, of like, okay, cool, like I've had this shitty day, and you could go for a run, you could go hit your weights, and that's cool. Like, oh yeah, I just want to get my workout in. I want to get my workout in. But it's like when you go to train, that's a whole different kind of like, oh, I did it. And I feel like it's a accumulation of like, oh, I did something really fucking hard today. Like I strapped on my gloves and I hit mitts for like this long. I strapped on my gloves and I boxed, I kicked, I did jiu-jitsu. Like it's a hard, whether you like it or not, it's really hard and it's like challenging. So maybe it's like this combination of like I did something really hard, and I did like a lot of physical exercise. I'm not particularly what it is, but it's just so interesting that's like, I feel like it's just like perfect combination of like everything together that it brings in, like, because when you're hitting weights, it's like, all right, cool, I got my muscles burning. If you hit the run, it's like, cool, my cardio's going. But like something about fighting, it's like I've noticed that like it involves your head so much, because it's like you're putting ones and twos together. It's like the science, they call it the science. Like, I feel like it's called the science of boxing. Yeah. Because it's like you really have to be so particular and like, okay, cool, like moving around, like it's calculations in your head. It's really just doing math in your head. Yeah. It's doing math in your head, and on top of that, your body's got to float. So it's almost like you're dancing, you're moving your body, and on top of that, your heart's going, and then your muscles are going, and you're getting hit. So it's like this perfect combination of it all. And I feel like that's what people don't really understand. Yeah. So I feel like maybe that's what it is for you, or like in general.
I think,
or I could just be simple and be like, it just makes me feel good. I don't fucking know, bro. It just makes me feel good. I like to beat people up.
Nah, it's definitely not that. It's. I've always liked to challenge, always. Mm-hmm. If I feel like I can't do something, I'm gonna fucking try to do it.
Yeah.
And if I fail the first time, I'm gonna keep fucking trying to do it again. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like. I mean, I've had fights where I've been getting my ass beat, but like, I still keep walking forward, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's to me, it's just one of those things. It's like I have to overcome this shit. Like I have to fucking get over this wall, and I'm gonna fucking figure it out. You know what I mean? I think that's what the biggest thing is. It's getting over that wall, like fucking figuring out one way or another to get the fuck either around, over, fucking through it, or I think that's what it is. It's not. The getting over the wall, it's like, it's the path. It's the journey of getting there. How the fuck am I going to figure out how to do this? I think that's what it is.
It's the figuring out about like yourself, and like this like relief and problem solving in the path.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
It's like with yourself and the actual physical situation.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's dope about it too, is like, and like, I'll compare it to myself. Like I'm competitive with myself, not really with others. And that's why I feel like with team sports, it was kind of like, like, all right, like I'm competing with others. Like, and at the end of the day, you are competing with others. You're moving around with others. But I feel like something, and I'll just speak for myself. I don't want to speak for other people. But I feel like for me, it's like training or martial arts is like kind of like the ultimate test for yourself, not for others. It's kind of like I've noticed in other sports, it's like, all right, who's the alpha male? Who's the best here? And it's kind of like and you'll get that a little bit in training.
Yeah, yeah.
But like at the end of the day, it really is just like how good did I do today?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of humbleness in the sport too, because
100%.
it's like very well knowing, oh, I could get fucked up tomorrow, like whatever it is, or I got my target on my back or whatever it is, you know. In other sports, like, all right, well, I'm clearly the fastest here, so it's like I'm gonna win every day.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
gotta worry about it, which is kind of frustrating. But I mean, hey, people have good genetics or whatever it is, you know, whatever it is. What do you like when you're in that moment, when you're in the cage, and you're, like you said, you're just getting fucked up and you're coming forward and you're moving around? What do you feel like, what is it like feeling that accumulation of like nerves and cardio and pain and injury and knowing like, you know, oh shit, I got 2 more rounds left or whatever it is, you know? What do you feel like, well, let's just talk about your first fight. Like when did you, at what point were you like, oh, okay, cool, I'm here, I'm in this, and then you got comfortable?
I didn't.
Really? The whole time?
So the way it was weird how that happened. So it's weird whenever I fight, I'm more nervous walking up to the cage than I am when I'm inside the cage.
Yeah.
Once I'm inside the cage, it's like, well, I mean,
It's autopilot.
yeah, it's just like the only way out of this bitch is just to fight my way out. So I really don't have a choice whether I like it or not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always get nervous that I'm going to like trip or I'm going to fall. I'm going to do something stupid on my way to the cage. That's what I get nervous about.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. But my first fight, it didn't really click that I was fighting till like the middle of the first round.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was completely blacked out. Like I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know what I was gonna walk into.
Mm-hmm.
The first round started and I just knew I was fighting somebody and I was just fucking going in there. I was throwing, and then something came into my head that was like, dude, you're fighting. And I was like, oh shit. It's like I'd woken up or something like that. And yeah, we were just going at it. We never went to the ground the first fight. And he just couldn't get out of his stool the second round and they just stopped the fight.
Wow.
And that was it. So I want to say it was pretty easy, but I also don't want to say it was easy. It was fast. It was fast.
Okay.
And I didn't realize what was going on until like the round was halfway through.
Yeah, people don't realize the everyone think like, and this is what's so funny about casuals who don't train or whatever it is. It's kind of like, dude, just get up. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck isn't he throwing his 1-2, bro? Why the fuck isn't he using his jab? It's like you don't understand like I keep saying the word accumulation. Like you don't understand the plethora of different emotions and nerves and anxieties and physical, possible physical injuries that came into play, the weight cut, you know what I'm saying, the game plan.
It's a lot of factors, and people don't understand
so many factors.
So many factors.
And most people don't understand unless you've trained, at minimum train.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've had shitty weight cuts. I've experienced shitty weight cuts, and your cardio is fucking horrible. I've gassed in like the first round, and and it sucks because you know your cardio's there and you can't because you had a shitty weight cut, you know, or you did something that you knew you shouldn't have been doing during your fight camp or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak for every fighter out there because like I know it's different for everybody, but at least for me, I figured I mean as I went on, I started figuring it out. You know what I mean? And it got better. But yeah, like you're in there, you don't necessarily feel pain. You feel when you get rocked, it's not pain. It's more of like everything just kind of slows down, and then you kind of snap back into it, and then you kind of lose control of your body for a second, and you just come right back. But you're just on autopilot, so you don't really feel anything. At least for me, I don't feel anything till like 2 days later. As far as pain while you're in there fighting, I'm just going. You know what I mean, or vice versa, whatever. I don't really feel much in there. It's more of like, you feel stuff land, but there's no pain. At least.
Yeah, the way the adrenaline goes is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah,
definitely. What do you feel like training martial arts and fighting has taught you, or what has it brought to other aspects of your life, and how do you feel like it's made an impact on you as a person? And what is it like? What aspects of it do you feel like you bring into like different areas?
I respect people a lot more.
You respect people a lot more.
Back then, I didn't really give a shit. Back before I started training, I would walk around big as fuck, and I thought I was a shit. I wasn't very humble. I didn't respect people so much, just because of my size and because I was like, if somebody tries to fight me, I'm just gonna pick them up and throw them somewhere. You It's very humbling, incredibly humbling. You respect people when you don't know them a whole lot more, because I mean, I could be staring at somebody that, you know, I have no idea who the fuck this guy is, you know.
It's so weird. I can't imagine you being like a douche because he's like one of the sweetest guys.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Amanda's like, huh?
Yeah, no, I used to be an asshole, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Hey, Kevin, can you imagine? Imagine him being an asshole? Not me.
Yeah, no,
Who would have known?
nah, I like to treat people the way that I want to be treated. You know what I mean?
Golden rule.
Yes, sir. I just, it made me focus more on like the way that I take care of my body, because physically only during fight camps though, because it wasn't up until recently that I actually started caring just in general overall. It was more of like, okay, I have a fight coming up, and because I was the type of guy that like would finish, like get it, like have a fight, and right after I had a fight, I'd go and like just fucking take a month off of practice, wouldn't go back to training for like a month, eat all the food, you know what I mean, drink and just fucking, you know, and then I'd go back like the first, second week trying to get a fight, then I'd get a fight, and then I'd start all over from the beginning and get in shape again. And it got to a point where I stopped doing that. Like I continuously stayed in shape. I, you know, continuously kept training, you know what I mean? And so that, in that aspect, I want to say it made me better as far as like my martial arts career, if we're going to call it that. Yeah, it just, I started focusing on it more. You know, it wasn't just more for the fight being the objective and then whatever.
You do seem like one who, and from, you know, from the conversations we've had, you know, great talks, and you do seem like one who actually genuinely cares about your mental and spiritual health as well. And what do you? He's like, nope, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? We've talked about this.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Do you feel like fighting has made an impact on that for you?
Definitely.
And obviously, you said earlier, like, oh, I respect people more, it makes me humble, but like internally, what do you feel like it's done? Do you feel like you're more at peace with yourself? Do you feel like you were more clear in the head? Do you feel like you care more about like being happy in general? Do you feel like you care less? Like, what do you feel like it's done for you mentally?
Training makes me happy.
Yeah.
Training makes me happy. It's one of the things that keeps me going. I look forward to training every day. You know what I mean? It's if I could train fucking 20 hours out of the 24 hours of the day, I would.
Nice.
You know?
It's a purpose.
Yeah, I love doing it. Yeah.
Nice. I want to get into Superare a little bit.
Okay.
So, how'd you find him, right? And what made you get into it? And because Superare is such a dope brand, and still, I don't even want to say they're up and coming. They just like have done so much, and they train. I mean, they've suited up some of the best fighters in the world.
Oh yeah.
And or I'll say you guys, because you're a big part of it. When did you get into there, and what got you into it? And just talk a little bit about them.
So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I was so we were still over at Affliction. It was, I want to say like 2018. They had just opened up. And I walked into the store because I started following him on Instagram, and I met the owner. I met Dylan.
Shout out Dylan.
And we had a conversation. It was like a 20-minute long conversation. He asked me where I trained at, you know, what I did and everything. And somehow, some way, he remembered me like 2 years later, or a year later, I want to say.
You walked in the store.
So that time, Dylan, we followed each other on Instagram the first time we met. And I saw that Superare had posted something about hiring, and also Dylan was posting it on his story and his Instagram, and I reached out to him, and I sent him my resume, and he actually reached out to me, and he's like, hey, we're looking for like, you know, a manager, and like, you know, all this, and I was like, what's up? Like, let's talk. He didn't know he didn't know that we had that conversation when I sent him my resume. And then he got on the phone with me. We had the interview, and he's like, oh, I remember you. Like, you're the dude that trains at Affliction. Like, and so I was surprised that he remembered me, but also he has a very good memory. Now, I know that. Had the interview, had the second interview, showed up for the first week of like the trial or whatever, and I just stuck around. That was back in September of 2019, and I've been with them ever since.
And you guys have grown so much since.
Oh yeah, we are definitely taking over the fight scene.
What do you feel like was like such a dope defining moment for you in your career at Superare? Like, did you see any fighters that were like, damn, like, well, at what point were you like, whoa, like I'm really part of a dope ass brand?
The amount of the way that people walked when people walked into the shop, and the way they reacted when they walked into the shop was more than enough for me to want to stay there. Because whenever somebody walks in there, it's like, yo, like, look at all this stuff.
So
like, just,
dope.
yeah, it's like just the way that everything's organized, the way that everything looks. It's we call it the Fighters Candy Shop.
Yeah,
and
it
mean,
really
it's
is
what it is. You know what I mean?
Really, what is? You walk in, you're like, oh,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, and everything's
I'll
like
take one
lit
of
up.
everything. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, that was kind of it for me, and just helping people get into the sport, and to me, it's exciting looking at somebody that's just jumping into the sport, whether it be jiu-jitsu, whether it be like boxing, or whether it be like MMA. It's like, dude, like I was there at one point. So
Yeah,
like,
that's always such a fun time. Like when you first start, and you're like, oh, I'm about to invest in like some dope gear. That's always the funnest time. That's always the funnest time. We're like, because in the very beginning, it's like, oh, I'll try on a pair of gloves, or I'll get a pair of bear gloves from like Sports Chalet or like Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, whatever wraps. But it's like when you really get into like, oh wait, like there's different brands. You try different brands, and you go to this shop like that, and you kind of like, oh wait, I like this. I don't like this. I like this color. I like this color. I like this. I like this style. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Like it's always such a fun time for sure. And like everyone who works there is kind of like, oh, they'll get you the exact thing you need.
Yeah, and that's the goal there. Like we don't. I mean, I've had people come in and be like, it's day one boxing, I want a pair of like $500 gloves, and we're like, wait, hold on, like, and it's not because we don't want to say, hey, you don't deserve this pair of gloves. It's like, do you really? Is this really what you need? You know what I mean? Is this really what you could use right now at this moment? You know, we guide people in the right direction as far as gear. We don't want them to, overspend. You know what I mean? On something they don't need when they just started out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not every brand is for everybody.
Exactly.
Like
not every brand is for everybody. Exactly.
It's like, all right, cool. This mitt works for me.
Yeah.
It's like for coaches, it's like, oh, this mitt works for me. We were talking to Amanda. She's like,
Exactly.
oh, I like the Hayabusas. I like these. I like these. I like the Venoms. I like this. I like this. So it just all depends on what you like.
Exactly. And we
we
always tell people, try everything else out. You know, try everything else, because who knows, you might fall in love with something that works a whole lot better for you than that one glove you used the first time you trained.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's always a fun time for me, especially because, I mean, my first pair of gloves was a pair of Everlast from Big Five, and that's not to talk trash on Everlast or anything like that, but it's just there's levels to the quality of gear and stuff like that. You know.
My first pair of gloves was a pair of 6 or 8 ounce boxing gloves from UFC Gym. I was wearing 8 ounces for like years, like when I first got, and then I was like, oh, never mind. This
isn't the only thing.
exactly, for sure. Yeah. So in terms of your future, is there any specific goals that you want to hit, short term, long term? What are you looking at?
Like as far as being a superhero?
No, fighting for you.
Oh, fighting. Dude, honestly, like I just always tell people, like I just like to fight. I like to train and I like to fight. Wherever it takes me is where I'm gonna go. I just have a blast doing it. So you know what I mean? It's funny. Recently, this dude came into the shop and he was telling us about intergalactic combat.
Here we go.
Yeah. Let's go. Kevin, pull it up, bro.
Intergalactic combat. They're fighting aliens now, bro.
No, bro. It's MMA fights in outer space. Like zero gravity MMA fights. Yeah, exactly. It's a real thing. So there's like this. I don't want to start throwing numbers out there, but there's like this huge budget for it, from what I understand. And
how the fuck does that make sense?
It's a real fucking thing, bro. It's legitimately a real thing. So the first MMA, it's seriously, that's what it's called. It's intergalactic combat. It's like a group of professional MMA fighters, and the first couple of fights are gonna be on a plane, one of those like zero gravity planes. Fucking fight like a professional fight in zero gravity.
Remember slam ball? Basketball slam ball?
No, what is it?
All right, so you used to play basketball, but instead of like a court, there was trampolines. So instead of dribbling and like going around everywhere, they would jump from trampoline to trampoline. But it's like, here you have the sport of basketball, but here, let's just throw some fucked up crazy shit and make them jump around. So it's like, oh, you fighting? Let's do that shit in space and have them not fucking...
Well, here's
be under
bro.
any
Here's the
kind of
kicker.
gravity.
So it's a whole tournament, right? It's gonna be televised. It's on like I don't. It's on one like it's on a big channel. The final of that tournament, the two dudes that are gonna fucking fight are gonna go on a SpaceX rocket and fight in outer space.
What?
I shit you not, bro.
How the hell do you fight with no gravity?
That's what I'm. That's one of the things
Jiu-jitsu is
yeah,
literally
it's on
using
the ground.
gravity. Jiu-jitsu is literally on the ground using gravity.
It's a
You
thing,
use gravity to your advantage.
Exactly. That's
What?
yeah, bro. I'm
Everyone's
telling
just
you.
like,
Yeah, like how do you take
Sorry,
someone
kid.
down in the middle of the air?
you just grab them, you're just spinning, just fucking swing. Just, fuck you. Damn.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's,
Wait, so like, are you?
so one of the dudes. So
No,
I guess,
wait. Are you like gonna do it or?
No.
Oh.
They are already working on it. Like this is a thing. Like this is something
Jesse's
they're
gonna
already
fight in
working
outer
on.
space. Fuck it,
The
dude, why
I guess
not?
like one of the executive producers was the guy that came in. He was
Oh.
like super stoked about it, and came in for some gear and stuff. You know what I mean? And he started telling me about it. He's like, yeah, look it up. And me and Dylan were looking over it on the tablet at work, and we're like, dude, holy shit, like.
Dude, imagine
These guys
pitching
are
that.
serious.
Imagine pitching that to your business partners. Like, guys, everyone loves fighting, and everyone loves aliens. Let's put them together.
100%. That's a real fucking
Like,
thing.
you know what, dude? Fuck it. Our ratings are low. Let's fucking do it.
Let's go to outer space.
Let's go
bro.
to outer space and have people beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
There's
bro.
a quote, and it was Bruce Buffer, and he said, you gotta have 4 things going on, like a giant, every crowd, okay? And it was like, in one corner you have a basketball game, in one corner you have a soccer game, in one corner you have a tennis game, and in one corner you have a fight that breaks out. Every single person will go watch that fight.
Yep.
If it's a true, genuine fight,
Yeah, 100%.
right? Everyone's gonna go watch the fight. So it's kind of like, okay, here you have a fight. So it's like, people are gonna watch it anyway. Let's just throw some crazy shit. Like those 5-on-5, like Russian
I've seen those,
things,
bro.
where it's like, like
I'd be 100% down to do
one
that
person
shit.
gets knocked out and then boom, the person gets jumped until they tap. You're like, what the fuck is
And then
going
like, it's
on?
like the team with the most people standing like wins.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, dude, I don't get it.
Yeah, bro. Outer
insane.
space, fucking MMA in outer space.
They're gonna do MMA underwater now.
I don't know how easy that. I don't.
We should start it. We'll do it right now. Kevin, we're gonna start our own promotion. No.
What is that?
Holy shit,
What
dude.
the fuck? Do they have like swords and shit? Yo, that'd be lit though.
Dude, that's insane. I did a when I was in school, I did a research paper on MMA, and I got an A on it because like, MMA is the only sport that like you're just as, or I don't want to speak for any other sports, but like it's the only sport where you're just excited to see the girls fight than you are to see the boys fight.
I mean, I at one point, I mean, not
Now.
doing the sport. I mean, at one point, yes.
Like, don't you like people like the big girls? You want to see like Amanda Nunes fight? You want to see like, oh shit, like who's she gonna beat the shit out of next?
Yeah, but like, I guess now, I mean, we look at it from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
Because we train, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe to like the common like person watching martial arts.
Point is, I got a fucking A on the paper. Yeah. In terms of super rare, where do you feel like you guys are headed in that sense? Like, is there goals to expand? Is there goals to?
Oh yeah, we're definitely I can't speak too
you
much.
guys are killing
on
it.
but
I
we're
mean,
definitely
obviously, like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have to get into specifics, but you guys are doing really well.
Yeah, we're definitely we're
Taking over the
super,
game.
yeah, we're taking over the game, bro. Like we're coming.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, man, we're doing big things. It's gonna be great. The future looks very bright for Superare. 100%,
For sure, man.
especially with the way that the sport's evolved. I mean, now you have fucking people fighting in space, bro. So like,
What would you tell to someone? Okay, cool. Like, all right, walks into super rare. Okay, newbie. Hey, Jesse. Like, I'm just interested in getting into martial arts. I don't know what I should be doing. Like, I just want to learn it. Like, I don't even know if I want to fight or not. It's just something that's interesting to me. What are you gonna tell him?
try it. You can't.
Try what? I don't even know what to try.
The only way to do it is to do it.
I don't know what to try.
Well, I would first ask, like, what interests you? Like, do you see yourself boxing? Do you see yourself doing MMA? Do you see yourself, choking somebody out? I always tell people, and this is almost everybody I meet, that I feel like every person in the world should get punched in the face at least once.
Oh yeah.
Just to kind of show them that they're not as weak as they think they are, because it's the fucking truth. You know what I mean? It teaches you just punch. One fight will teach you so much about yourself. Yeah. You learn that you're not as fucking weak as you think you are. You learn how much you can take. Shit, you learn how many fucking punches you can fucking take to the face and keep fucking going. You know what I mean? And it helps you get better at that too. It helps you understand yourself a little bit more and learn so much more about yourself than I feel like anything else could. It's just one of those experiences that I feel like, dude, get punched in the face, feel it out. I mean, it's not for everybody, but like if you like it, fuck it.
So what martial art would you recommend to someone who's just starting out?
Just because of my background, I would just say go into MMA. That's how I started. I didn't train jiu-jitsu from the start. I didn't train boxing. I didn't train Muay Thai from the start. I got thrown into like everything. And that's another thing that I'm kind of grateful for, because I learned everything from ground zero. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I didn't learn jiu-jitsu first and then start figuring out how to transfer that. Like, I learned how to do all of that together. You know what I mean? So I would tell people, like, try it all at once. But if you want to learn how to box, go to a boxing gym. Go straight boxing gym. Try it out. Feel it out. You might hate it. You might love it. If you love it, keep doing it. And then figure out if you want to turn it into anything else. You know what I mean?
If someone was like, hey, like, I'm just at work, I'm just doing, like, I just want to try something to get me in shape or whatever it is, do you, how do you feel about people who do martial arts not to actually fight, but just to do it as hobbies or passions? It's not necessarily, and the funny thing about, like, martial arts is that it's only, yeah, you could play pickup games in basketball and stuff like that, but, like, in terms of training, it's kind of like after high school or college, it's like you could play like in flag football leagues or whatever it is, but there's no like actual like teams that you're on. You know what I'm saying? Or like same thing in basketball, whatever, you go play pickup or whatever is for fun. But in martial arts, it's like, oh, if you really get into it, you're on like a team. You're part
100%.
You're part of a family.
You're part of a family. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, what would you tell someone who's like, no, like I'm just not like I'm part of it, but like I'm just doing it for fun?
I've come across people like that, and I always tell them it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Because even if you're not competing, even if you don't want to be a UFC fighter, even if you don't want to like take worlds and take gold in a jiu-jitsu tournament, you know, like at least you have a family outside of your immediate family, and you have a tool that you could use. Hopefully you don't ever have to use it, but if you do need to ever defend yourself, you have it. And that's something that I tell people all the time. You know, it's better to have that tool than to not, because you never know especially right now with the way the fucking world is, it's better to be prepared for something than it is to not.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
That's one thing I've noticed. It's like I feel like people who don't understand like what violence is or haven't gone through it don't understand how important it is to be able to just in case, like, know it, you know? Because you're not going to be able to, like, you know, someone who's coming at you who's like wants to fight you like physically, you're not going to be able to kill him with kindness. No. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't really understand. And we're heading towards a society that feels that way.
Yes.
Of like, you don't have to fight violence with violence. And it's kind of like, bruh.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I mean,
there's obviously ways to mitigate situations.
Of course, you know,
100%. In fact, the people who are the most violent stay away from it almost entirely.
Yeah, exactly. People that fight don't like to fight.
Exactly. The people in bars that are picking fights don't actually train or fight. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
If you actually go to a gym and you see in fact, I'll go as far as to say, like, if you're in a gym and someone finds out that you just picked a fight at a bar and just beat the shit out of some random dude,
you'll get shit talked.
You'll get fucked. You get fucked up.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's actually the opposite of what you think.
Yeah, 100%. You know you look like a douchebag.
100%. And then you'll just get your ass whipped.
Yeah,
you know
100%. Yeah.
It's funny because the people, like, at least I'll speak from my experience. Like, the people in like high school, whatever it is, that you think were like the big shots that like, you know, like who you didn't really want to fuck with. I saw a picture. Those are the people that like are kind of the weakest mentally. It's, you know, they've heard this like cliche statement, like bullies are actually the weakest people. I saw a picture and it was like this buff jacked bodybuilder, and it was like what you're scared of, and then right next to it was Fedor. It was like what I'm scared of.
Yeah,
you know
it's the truth though.
It's true, man.
It's definitely the truth.
It's true.
It's I don't know if you saw that video of I'm sure you did, Joe Schilling fucking up that dude.
Oh my God. How do you feel about that? You feel he went too far?
No, not at all, bro. The guy kind of had it coming.
Yeah, it's
you know, if the way that Joe kind of explained it on his Instagram, he was kind of just saying that the guy was just
Just to give a little backstory, there's this fucking asshole at some bar, and he's just like this, like he's wearing a suit and tie, probably just got off work, just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? What's up? You see this video? You do know what Joe Schilling is? All right, cool. So there's this guy at a bar or some kind of restaurant.
Yeah.
And he's talking shit, he's doing his thing, kind of like fucking around. He walks by Joe Schilling, or Joe Schilling walks behind him. And Joe Schilling doesn't really give him like this asshole move. He's just kind of like, excuse me. I don't even know if he said excuse me. I was just kind of.
He's just like, hey, like I'm just walking.
Yeah, walking, right? The guy turns around, like, what? And then I'm like, right when I saw that, I'm like, no, please no, please no, please no, please no. And then he put, boom, Joe Schilling knocks him the fuck out. I was like, and then right away I was like, he's dead.
Well, the guy,
I was like, that guy's dead.
flinched at him. Like the guy was like,
he was like, what's up?
And in the moment he did, that's why he
like,
fucked up.
I was like, bro, right away when he turned, I'm like, he's dead. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. You know what I'm saying?
And also Joe was wearing like a shirt that said that it was like parking lot, boxing ring, cage or something like that, right?
Yeah, and also it's like even if you didn't know Joe Schilling was a fighter, he still looks like someone you don't want to fuck with.
You don't want to fuck with him, right?
Exactly. But yeah, no, I mean coming back full circle, it's the people that you think that won't fuck you up that will. You know what I'm saying? It's the quietest people that actually know what they're doing.
It's the person that's studying the room that you want to be afraid of.
Reading the room, you know?
Yeah.
It's just it really is a lifestyle of like self-defense, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you manifest, but then you don't want to go too much into it. Like you said, like, oh, a lot of fighters don't even want to talk about fighting. Like, when they're out because you know what I'm saying? They only do it when needed, you know?
100%.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover, Jesse. Man. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for being on.
Yeah,
You're the man.
No doubt.
And I don't want to keep you. That was such a good conversation.
Hey, that was a really good conversation.
Yeah, man.
Intergalactic combat, bro.
Check it out. They're fighting fucking space now, dude. We're going to do underwater. We're going to be the first ones. Underwater fighting. Cool, man. You're the man. Appreciate you.
Sir. Likewise, brother. Thank you so much.